All right, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crisis Corner. This is your slice of the internet where we talk about all things gaming. Today's interesting person from the internet that I'm incredibly excited to sit down with. He's one of the most prolific cosplayers in the Rainbow Six Siege community. He's also a streamer, the N.A. Jaeger himself, the one and only Killimaze. Killy, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and sitting down with me, man. I appreciate it.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so fans of the Crisis Corner, you guys know we got some bill paying to do. Clutch Energy, they're the sponsor of the channel. Use code Crisis, 20% off Clutch Energy. All proceeds using that code this year are being donated to able gamers. So if you want to help out a great cause, try a great energy drink, disruptive.gg, use code Crisis. If you're watching this on YouTube later on, there'll be a link in the description you can click as well. So there we go. We got the bill paying out of the way. Killy, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I woke up early by mistake, and I've just been goofing off ever since until this interview.
Yeah. I was in your stream last night, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I hope I wake up." Like,
Yeah. I woke up at 6. I couldn't go back to sleep.
Man, you got up earlier than I did.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about kind of who you are and what you do online first. For people who might not know you, starting with how did you get the name Killimaze? I'm always interested in people's, IG, in-game names or aliases or whatever you want to call them. So let's start off with how did you come up with the name Killimaze?
All right. So, picture me back in 2009, wanting an Xbox 360 really bad, right? Because I'm addicted to Halo. And Halo, you got double kill, triple kill, overkill, and it goes all the way to Killionaire. But the 7th one is called Kilimanjaro. When I was little, I misheard it, and I thought it said Killimaze, and that became my name because I was like, oh, I was wrong. And then fun fact, because of it, I got my Halo 3 emblem as a tattoo, with the 7 indicating Kilimanjaro. So I've been Killimaze for how long has it been? It's like 12 years or something like that.
12 years now?
Yeah. It's been a while.
So out of an accident spawned Killimaze. That's pretty
Yep.
interesting. So you're a cosplayer and you're a streamer and stuff like that. What or who kind of got you into cosplay? Because I think more people from the Siege community probably know you as your cosplay of Jaeger, right? You're pretty prolific with that one. Who or what kind of got you into cosplay?
All right. So I originally really enjoyed watching like things with like the Halo Spartans, actually, because I don't know why. I am obsessed with costumes that do not show your face. And actually, related to my hat, Daft Punk, when I was in high school, yeah, I still love them.
They're still great.
Yeah, like they wear their helmets, they're very mysterious, and I was just like, I think I found a theme I enjoy, just people in costume or in armor, something like that, but not showing their face, and I felt really comfortable with that. So when I saw Siege, I loved SAS and stuff like that. I originally thought I was going to cosplay a Smoke, but then I saw the cost of that stuff, and I was just like, oh. Found a cheaper helmet. Actually, if you want, I could get the stuff out. They're in my closet, like right over there. I could get it in a little bit if you want to see. But I got some cheap helmet off Amazon, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna just go from here. And yeah.
So when people talk about cosplay and conventions and stuff, most of the time people, I'm sure, have in their mind like anime conventions, right? In the gaming world, you see it happen every now and again, but it's definitely more prolific in like comic book characters or anime or manga or things like that. But the Rainbow Six Siege community has really kind of embraced the cosplayers, right? When I was at Raleigh, it was the first event in America that actually allowed cosplay. And obviously there were heightened security measures and all those things, but everybody wanted to have pictures with the cosplayers, which is just super cool. And speaking of pictures, while you and I may not have gotten a picture together, Killy, we did happen to break out I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but I had the VIP package, which came with a chibi, right? I got the Jaeger one, and I ran into Killimaze as he was taking a picture with somebody, and I was like, I gotta have him sign this thing, man.
Yep, mine too.
But when you see how the Siege community embraces the cosplayers of Rainbow Six, How does that make you feel as a cosplayer?
Honestly, I feel super lucky because you think about other esports. Well, Overwatch is like, has their cosplay with them, but like the first thing I think of is like Counter-Strike, and there's not really much cosplay there because they look very, generic. They look very like, simple. But Siege cosplay is very different. It's very intricate. Some of the stuff doesn't even exist in real life. We have to create it. And then the community, to be honest, I don't fully understood why it got so popular, but like I appreciate it. It's just so nice that people enjoy the work that we put into our stuff. And like I won't forget, like I go to events as Jaeger and I see people like, oh, like so and so my favorite character, like, and I'm like I just made this guy's day. I'm like in my head, I'm just like in my head, like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I hope you enjoy the event. Like, I feel part of it, even though like I'm just there as a guest as well, I guess you could say. I'm just so fortunate that the community loves the creations.
Yeah, and it is crazy because, like I said, most gaming communities, like you said, Overwatch is one of them that has their cosplay, but and if you think about it, Siege and Overwatch came out very close to the same time, and they were both hero-based shooters. I know League of Legends has some really big cosplayers, but they're a Dota. They're not an FPS.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see because when you're in game and you're playing an operator, you don't get to see what they look like, right? You get to see your hands and your weapon skin, and that's really about it.
Yeah.
But everybody else can see what you look like. And you're right, some of these operators, I mean, you look at like Echo with his yokais, people 3D print those things. Valkyrie's cameras, Ella's Grismots, people are really going all in on their Siege cosplays, and they look amazing. I remember in Raleigh there was a guy wearing like a full hazmat get up as Lion in Raleigh, and like,
yeah, that's my friend.
110 degree heat, and this man is committed to the craft. Like
that is that's Chinus. If that's the same one we're thinking of, he said it was like a sweat bag, like
yeah. Yeah, no, it could not have been fun. I mean, it looked painful to wear, but it is kind of incredible because, like I said, people were taking pictures at like the official Ubisoft like backdrop booth with cosplayers and stuff.
Yeah, like, that was
it's really cool to see as someone who's a fan of seeing cosplayers, because I look at it as an art form. It's a form of expression, same as painting or streaming or anything like that. And it's just awesome to see someone's hard work and dedication be appreciated, right? Like we talked a little bit before, like I was a drummer, right? I still am. You're never not a drummer anymore. You just keep drumming inside your head. The beat marches on. But whenever we would play, people would enjoy our music, and that makes me feel awesome, right? And I gotta feel like cosplayers kind of have to feel the same way when somebody's like, yo, Jaeger's my favorite character, I love your outfit, right?
Yeah, so the way I handle it is that, like, so I originally did it as a hobby, just like, oh, like I want to be a little different, join in. And then I started realizing, oh, people really like this, like when they see their character like in real life, because they're obviously like fake characters. And just knowing, at least this is how I think of it, knowing that if I'm in costume and someone sees me and they really enjoy the character I am, like they're gonna just have their day made. They're gonna be like, oh man, like I took a picture. They're gonna show their friends and be like, look, I saw like a Jaeger like walking around. Like it's surreal for me, and I hope because I try to keep it on as much as I can during an event, even though it's like hot as hell sometimes. I just hope that I could reach out to everybody at the event that wanted to see me. That's the big stress in my head.
Yeah, because like you said, the characters we play in game, they're pixels on a screen, right? They're lines of code. You're never gonna get to meet IQ, right? But if IQ is your favorite character and there's someone there that looks like IQ, that's kind of the closest you're gonna get to meeting your real life. It'd be like if you went to Disney World and you're a fan of Mickey Mouse, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it. And as long as you treat the cosplayers with respect, everyone. Cosplay is not consent. You know, I'm sure a lot of the cosplayers are very happy to take pictures and hang out with people who enjoy their cosplays and stuff. So it's just cool to see how the Siege, because let's be honest, the Siege community kind of has a reputation for, you know, how they act a lot of times. But I will say the events that I've gone to, everyone's been super chill, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a case of like anonymity on the internet. No one's gonna say that stuff to your face at an event.
I really feel like there's two communities. Like, there's a community that we know because we attend events, we meet people, we met friends across the world, and that's the part I love. Like, I adore that. This game changed my life because of that. And then there's the online community who has no intent of ever doing anything other than playing the game, like, every now and then, and they're mean and stuff, and that's where we get the bad side, where you see the bad side of things. But it's hard because I have to remember this side exists, the bad side, but I try to focus on the good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody that I've met at an event has been super chill, and I think that's what people need to realize is, like, if you want to get a good idea of what the true Siege community is like, or any community that you're a part of, go to an event like where that thing is going to be showcased. I've met some of my best friends through playing Siege. You know, I've got to meet developers and talk to them and sit down and kind of pick their brains, and through that, you know, become friends with them and ask them questions about, you know, certain things, kind of like, why haven't you fixed your game yet? But it's all in good fun though. But
Yeah.
you do really get to meet these amazing, interesting people, you know, and I think you're right. We need to focus on that side of the community that loves Rainbow Six and loves their community, as opposed to the 12-year-old edgelords online that, you know, wanna be not so fun.
Nice.
So like we discussed, you're most well known for your Jaeger cosplay, obviously, and you kind of said that you were looking to do Smoke. If Jaeger was deleted from the game today, he no longer exists, who would you like to cosplay?
I would probably continue doing Smoke. My addiction for like FPS games came from Halo and COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, like around that, and I was addicted to the SAS because of just so cool, like darker uniforms, gas masks, you don't see their face, like a, you know, theme here, and I wanted to do Smoke so bad, like you have no idea. But at the time, my budget wasn't there because I didn't know anything about cosplay, and I was like, wow, this stuff is expensive, let's not do that. So I would probably do Smoke or Thatcher, because to be honest, those two out of the 4 original SAS, they honestly, I love them. Like I played them the most on Xbox, like they're my 2 main operators, but I diversified myself, sorry. Now, so yeah, it would be Jaeger and then Smoke, and then I thought about Maverick at one point, but I kind of fell off that.
Shows his face too much.
Yeah, like I'm still I don't know, like I loved his kit, I liked his backpack, and I'm like, oh, I could get with this, but then I was like, oh, I don't have his hair.
Well, he wears that beret.
Yeah,
so...
I'm waiting for like when headgears come out that are full face, like helmets for like characters that normally show their face, I immediately slap that on. I'm like, oh hell yeah. I'm like the Buck one with the ski mask, I put that on right away. That's the whole reason why I never bought the Elite.
Yeah,
stuff
see,
like that.
I still just rock the Rogue one because I think the color scheme's too nice.
I got Rogue uniform, ski mask.
There you go. It's funny that you said Thatcher, because, you know, Thatcher has a few skins where his face is being shown. The Elite skin, the SI one, which, and I think if you do Thatcher, you almost, especially if you're someone with facial hair, you've got to do like the Elite skin and do the Captain Price mutton chops.
Yeah.
Man. Which, speaking of, another SAS guy, Captain Price. That's, I'd love to see him and Thatcher throw down, man. That would be so cool. So
cool crossover event.
Yeah, get on it. So what, other than the face covering with Jaeger, was there anything else that kind of drew you to him as a character to cosplay, or was it sort of like George Lucas filming Star Wars #4 first because it was the cheapest one to do?
It was probably like it was okay. So it was a few things. So it was one, I found the helmet cheap. I found, okay, so super random, but I found a random Reddit thread talking about Jaeger's shoes once, and I was just like, oh, and I found it, and I was like, huh, I got the helmet, I got the shoes, might as well just do the rest, because I used to airsoft, so I already had like a vest and everything, and I was like, I just need a jacket, helmet, and the shoes, and I'm kind of there. And I just the rest of my vest with like cardboard, like as for the radios and stuff. I had a broken Turtle Beach headset. I ripped out the wire on it, and I kind of just like put it on. So I was just like, yep, there we go. And so yeah, it was, to be honest, just because the cheaper option. And in game, he had the M416. I did enjoy that gun, and I had one as an airsoft kit, and I was like, yeah, I got this.
I do think if people are trying to do a budget siege cosplay, the GSG-9 might be the best ones to go after, because they just wear like jeans and a t-shirt, and him and Bandit just come rolling up in their Yeezy 350s and hanging out. So I do think the GSG-9 would probably be like your what's the term, like the closet cosplay people can do.
Yeah.
Most of the time you can just like, I got jeans, I got a green coat, I can be Jaeger, like casual Jaeger, still walking around with a helmet on. So we talked about cosplay, but as we said earlier, you're also a content creator, you're a streamer. So who or what got you into content creation? Because I always find it interesting as to why people got into streaming or YouTube or anything like that, because most people have different reasons why, and I just like to know.
All right, so it dates back from a while ago, because I'll be honest, I love playing games like anyone else, and I was like, you know what, I should probably just start recording this. And I asked for an Elgato for Christmas like years ago. I don't even remember what year. I got it, didn't really do much. I remember very, very specifically one day, I think it was like 2016. I was on my lunch break at a job I didn't like. I was a cook. I did not like that job. I did enjoy Rainbow Six Siege still, so I decided to go on my phone during my lunch break and watch YouTube. Macy J was on my suggested. I wasn't even subscribed to him at the time. I watched some of his videos and I was like, wow, this is a way to play Siege I've never seen before. So I kept going and watching more and more, and I was just like, wow, this is really good. And it was just simple gameplay, smart clips. And really it was Macy J kind of like made me finally go like, okay, I have the equipment, might as well start doing it. But I've always had the equipment to record, because like I've always really been interested but never really like motivated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really Macy J. I was inspired by him, and I remember in 2016 I spent about 6 months gathering footage and actually making videos without uploading them, so that when I decided to start, I originally started on YouTube, I would have 3 videos per week for a while, and I had that down. And then I got demonetized on YouTube because they took away my partnership, because they changed their terms, and I was like, wow, hey Twitch.
Yeah.
It was around that time. I was like, all right, I'll just go to Twitch. And I enjoy Twitch so much more. It is so much more fun, more my speed. So yeah, I don't think I forgot anything in that, but I feel like I did. I feel like there's, all I remember is seeing, like, I guess the main source of me wanting the Elgato, by the way, was me watching like Call of Duty freak out reactions, and I wanted to make sure I had a chance to record my freak out reaction, because I used to play a lot of Modern Warfare, COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. I used to play those a lot, and people's reactions were over the top back then.
Oh man, yeah, no, it was when people say kids wouldn't survive a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, I don't think we should wear that as a badge of honor, because that was
I
some
was
shit went
bullied.
down in those lobbies.
I
man.
was
Like me, a funny story about Modern Warfare 2. A buddy and I used to run around. We would like take turns playing, and we would run around with the USP-45 tack knife and throwing knives. And that's all we did. Was we never fired a bullet the entire game. We would just knife people and throwing knives. And the amount of hate in a search and destroy lobby when you hit someone with a throwing knife down a long lane and they have a sniper rifle, the messages that would come flowing in, man.
I actually know exactly what you're talking about. Like,
yeah, it was some of the best times. I mean, like, I like you kind of started on YouTube. Black Ops 2 had the thing where you could like upload little clips to YouTube, right?
I think I remember that.
It originally started out for me like, yo guys, I hit a nuke on Yacht, right? So like I'd upload it to YouTube and people could watch it, and like my friends, right? Because back then there wasn't like TikTok, there wasn't Vine or anything to upload clips like that. So the only way to really do it was YouTube, right? So I'd edit it down and be like, okay guys, look, I hit this nuke, right? It'd be a way for me to show my friends. And then I got into like doing cinematic stuff. But much like you, I got demonetized because YouTube changed their stuff.
Yeah.
And I also just got tired of like putting a lot of time into editing a video to see some reaction channel get 4.5 million views, putting in absolutely no work. But I'm a boomer, right? So I remember going to like friends' houses, sitting down around the Nintendo or the Sega and like playing together, right? When you died, it was this person's turn and vice versa. To me, streaming's kind of like the modern version of that, right? It's a bunch of people coming around like a video game. It's a sense of community. Now, granted, you're not passing the controller off to someone else, but when you weren't playing back in the day, you were cheering on your friend, trying to get through the level, trying to do this and that. And to me, that's kind of what the community on Twitch is like. They're cheering on their streamer, or they're roasting their streamer, you know, or they're something like that. And to me, that's kind of what Twitch is, and that's why I enjoy streaming so much more than making highlight videos that nobody's gonna watch, or you know, something like that. So yeah, I agree with you. I think Twitch is more my speed as well, but again, I'm also a boomer. I'm ancient in internet standards, man. I just turned 31 like last week, so
happy belated.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I'm 24 now.
Oof. Yeah, you're young. So we talked about what got you into cosplay and what got you into content creation. Now let's talk about the reason that you and I met, Siege. What first drew you to Rainbow Six Siege?
All right, so when I was in high school, I was in a military program. I sincerely thought I was going to enlist. I didn't, because I'm honestly a nerd and I just wanted to learn a little bit more about video game development and stuff like that. So me and my friends who were in that program saw the E3 trailer for Siege and were like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, you rappel in and stuff and the walls are destructible. So we're like, okay, we'll play the beta when that comes out, because they announced something like that. We played the beta and it was actually really fun, even though it was really buggy. Like, it was something we never experienced before. Walls breaking, like chaos. Like, it was really scary, but like, by today's standards, that gameplay is like ancient and trash. But the selling point was we couldn't find a multiplayer match in the beta, so me and my friends decided to launch a realistic T hunt, because we've never done that before. We didn't realize how difficult it was. We all died immediately except for my friend, who is hanging around in a building and house in one of the rooms. And I don't know what my friend was doing, but like, he couldn't hear a terrorist back when the bombers used to exist.
Oh,
snuck up behind him, blew him up. And back then the destruction wasn't really, you know, that attuned. So instead of like just the walls exploding and stuff, everything shattered like tiles. And the body of my friend stood up and like ragdolled to the wall and splat. And it was the funniest thing, and legit, we bought the game because of that experience, that explosion. I don't think, if that didn't happen, I don't know if I would have bought Siege.
Yeah, ragdolls in gaming can really make an experience. I used to play a lot of Battlefield 4, and sniping
Same,
people
yeah.
off ladders to watch them just fly through the air.
They get stuck and it's like fire. I remember that.
Yep. Or if you got them at the very top of the ladder and you hit them with like the 50 cal that was on the map, they would just get they would just get launched. And it was some of the best moments, or like the little stupid things like that. Like I've been playing a lot of Tarkov recently, and like scavs will like just walk into a wall and then just like scream angry Russian noises while they're inside this wall, and it's like, you good, bro? But it's just moments like that it's just like, that's so cool. Yeah. For me, because I started on console as well, and there was nothing like it. You had COD Search and Destroy, basically, which is about the closest thing you could get to console or Siege on console, right?
Yeah.
PC, you had like CSGO and some other games and whatnot. And there was a CSGO version on console, but it wasn't supported like at all.
It
and
was
nobody
awful.
ever played it.
It was bad.
And I just remember like playing the game for the first time and telling it, like the game telling you to lean. I was like, what?
Yeah,
Like
I remember that too.
Lean in this game? Like, it was so cool. And of course I was a filthy ass Jaeger main way back. But that game just did so much different. Even in the beta, I could tell like this game's gonna go somewhere, right? Like, this is so niche, but it's so different that it could explode, right? And here we are about to go into year 6, you know? It's like, if you'd have told me you're gonna be playing the same game for 6 years, I'd have been like, no, I'm not, because I came from Call of Duty, new game every year, you know? Like, new Call of Duty every year, new Madden every year, you know, new games every year, and that's kind of what you were just used to. But Siege just stuck around, and it's kind of like, 6 years? What?
Yeah.
Like, it's so crazy, and I've gotten so many friends to buy the game, and I mean, we put thousands of hours into Siege collectively over multiple consoles. I bought an Xbox because I was very good on PlayStation, and I wanted to join the Xbox Pro League. I bought an Xbox, and Ubisoft was like, so about the Xbox Pro League, it's gone. And it's gone.
I have a really good memory of that, actually, because I was at the same job. So the same job I said I hated, the cook job, and I was on my lunch break watching what's it called, Invite 2017, and I got lucky with timing, and I was able to watch like the reveal panel of like what they had planned. I was eating a burger when they announced, we are now glad to announce year 2, and I was just like, like at my lunch break, but in the same like, but it's like announcement time, they were like, by the way, Xbox League is gone. And I was like, oh
yeah,
because I was actually changing my schedule to start accommodating like the Go 4s and the Sunday play days, I remember. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to start changing things up because I want to take this game seriously. And I remember that being a like, oh, I got to go to PC moment.
Yeah, it was a heartbreaking moment for sure, because when I got my Xbox, the very first season that I played on was Red Crow. So Habana and Echo came out. I was a level 37 diamond with a 1.7 KD. Now, if you see that today, you're like, cheater, right?
Yeah. I remember
a cheater. But it was funny because I'd be in like voice chat with them, and they'd be like, "Are you a Smurf?" And I'd be like, "Technically, no, because this is my only Xbox account. But I come from PlayStation, where I'm a high plat diamond." And they were like, "Oh, you're really good," and I was like, "Thanks." Like,
I remember. Yeah, go ahead.
I remember one kid was like, "Level 37 diamond, you're a cheater," or no, he called me boosted. He said I was boosted, and then the very first round, it was on Hereford base. I'll never forget. I ran in his ash, killed everybody in like 45 seconds, and the kid was like, "Hey, bro, can I send you a friend request?" Like
on your team, really? Oh, like he was claiming it on your team. Oh,
yeah. He called me a boosted diamond because I was level 37. Because back then you could see people's ranks, right?
Yeah,
like you could see
I
their ranks,
that.
you could see their KDs, you could see everything. and it caused a lot of toxicity because that vote to kick was also in ranked, right?
Yep.
So if somebody had a low KD, you would just vote to kick them, and that was that. But yeah, this kid was like, wow, level 37, boosted diamond. And then I ran in and killed everybody in like 45 seconds. And he's like, hey, bro, can I send your friend request? And I was like, oh, so you want to be boosted? Got it. Sure.
I remember those days. I remember, so I will never understand the concept of being mean to your own teammates because so if you're like, you know, just queued up and you have a random guy, that random guy wants to win the game as much as you do out of everyone else in the match. Yeah, some
of them.
And I'm just like, man, why are you going to be mean to that one guy who wants to win? Like, yeah, but man, I remember Red Crow, Hibana Bug. What else was very popular back then? Around Red Crow, I accidentally had the ESL charm, I think, because it was on sale by mistake, and I got called like a lot of things because, yeah, they saw the ESL charm. It's like, oh, are you a pro league? Or like, oh, are you a cheater? I'm like, no, it was on sale by accident for like a day. I just bought it.
Well, speaking of, we just ran into Skinglishers the other day. Dude had
really?
Dude was a level 46 on PC, year 1 Pro League skin, and the Pro League player charm that you can only get by being a player. So we called him out.
The circle around the
filigree stuff. Yep,
yeah.
And he was like, no, bro, it was on the account. And I'm like, oh, so you bought the account? Like,
also against TOS,
still against terms of service, bro. Like, we got you, it's over. And then I called him out and I was like, hey buddy, I'm just gonna forward your name to a few dev friends of mine. And then they went to my Twitter and they started getting real toxic in chat, and I'm like, and screenshot and reported.
Just get as much as you want.
Yeah.
Like that.
And I was streaming too, so I had the whole VOD and everything, and it was
caught him 4K.
Yeah. Got him, bro. So let's talk about LAN, because there hasn't been like a true LAN in over a year at this point. There was supposed to be a LAN, but that's not going to be for a few months now. The Invitational.
Yeah.
LAN's a great place, isn't it, Killy? It's an amazing place. If you had to narrow down to your favorite LAN memory, what would it be and why?
All right, so it has to be around. It's a tie between Invite 2018 and Invite 2019. They were both great events, but I think my favorite was 2018 because of how new the scene still was. Everything was a little bit more relaxed. They let me like go around like the stage in cosplay. They let me see like because I was like I forgot exactly what I was doing, but they let me go where like the players would eat, and I was able to get like the food that the players would eat, and I was just like, I don't think I should be here, but they let me, and I'm just eating like lasagna that they had at the time, and I was like, this is real cool. That's kind of why I say like Siege changed my life. I felt so welcomed. But I think what takes the cake. So I'm from Florida. I don't have clothing to accommodate the cold of Montreal in the winter. I was at Meltdown Bar. If you've ever been to Invite, you probably know what that bar name is now. It's kind of like known. I was there for a bit, nothing really going on. Decided to leave, get some McDonald's, and then I got like a message like, "Hey, everyone came." I'm like, "Oh, are you serious?" So I'm like walking back, and I'm wearing a Rogue King George jersey and a hat similar to this. Like, I think it was like the 6 hat. And I go in, and when I come in to see the King George in the back, Frisky Walrus actually thought I was King George. I get turned around. It's all the cosplayers that I've seen. I'm like, oh. And they invited me to sit with them. I'm like, no, I'm Killimaze. I was the Jaeger guy. And that's how I got into cosplay, really, because that mistake. I sincerely think if I was wearing anything else, I would have not been where I am today. So that has to be the most memorable thing, I think, of any other event. I was walking back into the bar I was just in, seeing it packed, and seeing all the other cosplayers hammered, and like, oh, this King George, and I'm like, no.
You're a bit tall to be King George, isn't he? Like 4'2".
Yeah, he's small, but I don't remember the exact size.
Man, I've only been to 2 events. I've been to Atlantic City and I was at Raleigh.
Okay.
My favorite thing that happened at both events actually both involve Pengu and Fabian. 'Cause obviously they were Penta at the time, and then they were G2 for Raleigh. And after the Raleigh major, G2 had just been, I guess you could call it an upset. They had just lost in the grand finals, which Penta also lost to Team Liquid in Atlantic City. So we were walking to a bar after the event was all over. Empire lifted the trophy and everything, we were walking past the hotel where all the players were staying, and we just happened to look over, and Fabian and Shaz were sitting outside eating McDonald's on a bench, right? So I was like, oh, it's Fabian. I'm going to go talk to him. And my buddy Matt was like, you could not go talk to Fabian. And I was like, psh, it's just Fabian. It's just Fabian, right? So I walked over to him and I was like, hey, Fabian, what's up? Now, I talked to Fabian. They were doing a signing, but it was the end of the event. They had to clear everybody out. It was very hectic. I don't know if you were there for that one or not, but
I remember some.
You were literally given like a second to talk to like each player. And not every player was even there. Pengu wasn't even at the signing, right? So I had to flex my media pass to get an autograph from Pengu. So I was like, hey, media pass, I work at a thing, and I need this for the studio. And the G2 assistant person, bless her heart, she was super kind. She was like, okay. Like, she was like, go ahead, I guess. Just don't take too long. And I was like, absolutely. But I was talking to Fabian, and I was like, hey, man, bummer, blah, blah, blah. And he was just like, you know what? And I was like, what? He's like, I just realized both times I've met you, we've lost. And I was like, yeah, I know, my bad, man. And he looked at me dead in the eye, and he was like, you stay the fuck out of Montreal, right? To which I replied, fine, but you send me a G2 jersey, right? Give me a Fabian jersey. And I don't think that man's hand has ever come out that fast to shake someone's hand, because he was like, fine, I'll send you a G2 jersey if you stay out of Montreal. And I was like, all right. And he did. He sent me a G2 jersey.
Aww.
And that's got to be my favorite one. Close second would be the one where I caught them as they were getting ready to go up to the elevator. They had just beat Rogue. And and they were getting ready to go up to the elevators in Atlantic City. And I happened to stop Pengu and Fabian. And I got a picture with them there.
Okay.
Somebody came like back into the auditorium, and they were like, Penta's at the elevators, and everybody just rushed to go.
That hotel was so
over.
hectic.
Man, it was such a bad event. Like, the games and everything was good, the vibe was good, but the location was just awful.
I found out 2 weeks before that event happened that cosplay wasn't allowed, and I was asked to not say anything, to not like, because it was like unofficial, like official, if that makes sense. So it was like message like, hey, like, please don't say anything yet. We're still working on a statement. I'm like, okay. And I was just like, I was working so hard for this, like,
because originally it was going to be allowed.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, or like a week before the event, they were like, hey, security doesn't want people dressed up in full, which I get it. It was held inside of a casino. Like, people in Raleigh freaked out because the cosplayers were outside taking pictures. Like, they thought a terrorist attack was going on, right? Like, it was crazy. Because, like, the last day of the final, I was riding my Uber to the event, and he was like, oh, the convention center, a bunch of police and stuff were there yesterday. What happened? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, SWAT was there. And I was like, what?
No, that was
like,
just us.
A bunch of people outside. And I was like, no, that's a bunch of nerds dressed up like SWAT. What are you talking about? Like, that's not.
I think I know what they're talking about, because they had us take a picture. There was a statue at the beginning.
Taped like the sledgehammer to the thing.
They made us take a picture around that. I wonder if that guy saw that, was like, oh god, and just drove away.
Well, because everybody had to like pile back in, right?
Yeah.
So you've got all these people piling back into the convention center at one time, and like, people knew that there was heightened security there already for an event, right? And then it was just like, yeah, man, like SWAT was there. He's like, I saw somebody with like SWAT on their back, and I was like, probably an Ash cosplayer. Like, so that's fine. It's just a bunch of nerds, man. Like, they're not gonna do anything. But so let's talk about current Siege, right? I personally find it hard to enjoy playing Siege right now, unless I'm in like a 5-stack, right?
Yes.
If you're in a 5-stack, it can make anything fun, depending on who you're playing with and whatnot. But the current state of Siege, year 6 season 1 is on the test server. It's coming live next week. It's been confirmed by Ubi. What do you think about the current state of Siege as it sits now? Is it still fun to play? Is it more frustrating than it used to be? What's kind of your mindset when firing? Because you're primarily a Siege content creator, right?
Yeah.
You've played like Doom and stuff on stream as well, and Halo, of course. But you're primarily known as a Siege content creator. So when you go and you sit down and hit that go live button, do you have like this thought in your head like, oh, Siege, I hope it's just a good night, man? Or like what kind of goes through your head?
So with Halo, to relate it, Halo's Halo. It hasn't changed. Well, I play Halo 3, Halo 2, and Doom is Doom. It's not really going to change. It's always been the same old single player experience. And Siege is like, okay, first I got to figure out which one of my friends are getting online, because I very rarely okay, let me reword this. I usually always get a 5-stack. It's very rare I queue with someone missing because I don't trust people. So that's the first hurdle, because the other games I could just get on and play. It's changed quite a bit, especially from changing from Xbox to PC. Back then I had to worry about certain things and certain site holds. And now I have to worry about an Ashe running in on Villa, ignoring the Malusis, because that's just what people do now. It's super aggressive. I would say that current Siege is very, at least in North America, because I heard it's different in other regions. It's very aggressive, and it's a very big headache sometimes. I can be completely honest. You have to make sure everyone's feeling it. You got to make sure your friends don't tilt at each other. And of course, that used to happen before, but I feel like it happens a little bit more right now because everyone's super hyper competitive. Like, I gotta be like super rank star guy going in Ashe kill, you know? So that's one thing. I gotta say it's definitely, it was a little bit more enjoyable back then, I would say, because back when the game was newer and I was enjoying it, people weren't necessarily all like that. Now it's just a lot. But with the way certain things play out, it's like, okay, like, because I use R6 tab and I see like what the enemy team plays. I'm like, okay, this team is heavily like Ashe Jaeger main, let's ban border. So it's very different now, because back then it was just like, oh great, we got border and these people are like aggressive looking. So at least a little bit more control. So it's give and take. It's more frustrating now because of the way that people play, but we have the tools to make it more enjoyable, based like with operator bans, operator selection, new Gone 6 coming in. I played that in the tester. That was cool. But yeah. I hope it makes sense though. It's very hard for me to say, because it's frustrating because of the people, not because of the game. The people who don't play like Siege and play it more like, I'm gonna frag out and see what happens, not really my thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that 100%. Like I said, last night we were playing on Snorgan, and I was holding elbow as smoke. We had the ADSs, the shield, and everything else, and somebody was wanted the one part of E-box reinforced, and then the other one was shotgun holes, right?
Yeah.
But nobody held it, so they just straight rushed me in elbow, and I was like, what's the point of having this if nobody's gonna hold my cross, right?
Yeah.
Like, speaking about getting tilted at teammates and stuff, and I was like, no one's on the same page, right? Like, we're in a 5-stack and no one's on the same page. Like, you know,
ooh, that's what gets me.
Yeah, and that's what irritates me. Or like when somebody is like, hey, that reinforcement or that rotate goes here, not here. Okay, well then you make it, right? Like, if you're gonna bitch about my reinforcement, then you do it, right? And I feel like because of the hyper competitive nature of Siege, it's kind of like Mario Kart. Like, you can really ruin friendships over you know, like a bad round of Siege, right?
Yeah,
like,
I've been there on
know,
Xbox.
and it's just like I agree with you. It really it be a vibe. You have to get people that you can vibe with and play well with. And I think you have to make the decision going into the night. Are we just going to screw around and unranked all night and meme around? Because that's what we've been doing, and it's honestly been a lot of fun, right? You know, picking your Ash and a Finka and then just rushing into sight and seeing what happens, you know. Amaru in through Sandwich on border and try to kill as many people as possible, you know. And that's fun. But if you're like, yo, we're going to be competitive, we want to play ranked tonight, we want to try to grind and get our elo up, I think if you don't have everyone on the same page, you're going to have those moments where it's like, dude, why weren't you holding my angle, right? Like, why weren't you holding my cross? Like, and it can escalate. And it can escalate to like really big problems. And luckily, I play with Emrod, a UFC fighter, he kicked the shit out of all of us. So when he tells, so when he's like, yo, calm down, everybody calms down. So, but yeah, no, it's Siege really is, I think, at its most frustrating point right now. Again, because of how the community plays the game, right? Everybody complains about how defensive side of the game is, but they just want to, and that's because they want to play super aggressive. You know, nobody wants to use tactics, go do this, do that, and it's the same bans every single game. Like, I'm sure you see it. It's like Thatcher Jackal or Thatcher Blackbeard. You know,
Thatcher Malusi,
and then Mira Malusi. Luckily, Echo's kind of gotten off the ban train because he's been nerfed into oblivion. But it's like Mira, Cade, Mira, Malusi, Mira, you know, Bandit or whatever. You never see like any changes, and it's kind of just like every time I see somebody ban Jackal, I'm like, what are you doing? That's such a waste of an operator ban. Like, it's ban somebody useful. And they're like, but I don't want to get tracked. And stay on site or play Cav. I don't know what to tell you. Or bait the Jackal. He's one of the easiest operators in Siege to bait, because most Jackals are solo players, right? They're not in with the stack, so they're gonna see the ping and they're gonna chase it. So what do? They see the ping, they turn off their Inox so they can't see how many footprints are there. They go rushing after a Jaeger that they've pinged, and there's Caveira sitting with a pistol, and now Jackal's getting interrogated and giving up everybody's location. Yeah, no, it's I still love Siege. It's a game that I've put the most hours into over the last 5 years, but I do find it being harder and harder to take seriously. You know,
I feel you.
You know, because it's kind of like I'm at the point, one, I'm not going to go pro, right? I'm 31. It's not going to happen. So taking the game seriously for me is not there, because I'm never going to advance past where I'm at. But at the same point, I hate losing so much.
Yes.
So like if I set foot in ranked, it's on site. Like we are fighting tooth and nail to win this. And if my team's not with me, or they're like, we're just trying to have fun, I'm like, that's what unranked's for. That's what quick play's for. Like, you're in ranked, let's try to win. So yeah, it's pretty rough. But speaking of the Gone 6 and the test server, let's talk about the future of Siege, because I've said several times, Crimson Heist has kind of renewed an excitement of Siege for me, right? I think Flores is a very, very cool operator. I'm very happy that he got the AR-33. It's one of my favorite guns in the game.
I like that gun.
And it's so good. I don't think the nerf that they did to him was warranted quite yet. I feel like that may have been a little bit premature. But I like the changes that are coming. The border change is really, really nice. Very simple. Yes. But as you and I talked earlier, Cafe is one of our favorite maps. And this feels like what they did to Cafe. That little run through. That little run through there above the lobby is so nice. Just like the little outcroppings on top floor Cafe, completely change it, you know?
I love these. So I remember when they used to do like full reworks, like Hereford and stuff like that, like wasn't as popular, and I get why. And now they're doing like reworks or map buffs. And it still flows the same, but more comfortable. And Border is my favorite map. Like, I used to hate it when it first came out. I hated it, but now I started liking it because it's a very intricate map. You could learn the angles, and you could get some really cool like kills off angles you learn. And it plays horribly right now, like in the current state without the rework. It plays so bad. You just got a guy run up metal, avoiding most of the stuff. He could kill like 1 or 2 people, and then there's the entire defense because everyone's just like, how'd this guy get in? Oh, they just blew the wall, stuff like that. This rework is so nice. I played just a little bit of it, to be honest, because I played the ranked mode in the test server, so I didn't get to, unfortunately, play the map much because it wasn't picked. But it was so good the times I got to play. Like, I love it.
I'm afraid it's gonna get the skyscraper treatment though in ranked, right?
Uh,
Personally, look, I don't think skyscraper was that bad of a map.
I actually like it. I like both. I like both like versions.
And the rework of skyscraper, like you said, it's different, but it flows, right? Putting dragon inside and making that a run through kind of reminds me of the construction room on Clubhouse.
Oh, club, yeah.
You know, because they enclosed that off, allowed for more rotations and stuff for the defenders, which I think they tried to do for Hereford by putting in all the extra staircases, but all they did was turn those into choke points. Like, all you gotta do is hold the stairs, and they've got to come up or down, you know? Like, what are you gonna do? But my 3 favorite maps in the game right now are the maps that have gotten buffs, not like full-blown reworks, you know? Cafe, Clubhouse, and I still like Skyscraper, you know?
Yeah.
So, I think because Border's been in the game for so long, year 1, season 2, like you said, it's just gotten boring. It's gotten stale. It's definitely needed a rework for a while now. Every single person who has played this game for more than a year knows how to play Border, right?
Yes.
It's very, very simple to attack, very simple to defend. And you know where they're going to go. It's going to go top floor, it's going to go down the vents, and then it's usually going to go over up to customs because nobody's defending bathroom tellers. I played a lot of the mode with just Border with Get Flanked and Red GG. Shout out to the boys. Bathroom tellers is a defendable site now.
Yeah, it's strange, right? Like
it's so weird because we were like, you want to go bathroom? Like, obviously you didn't get to choose bathroom because it was a casual playlist, so it just chose it for you. But the times where you did get to play in bathroom, you were like, oh, there's so much room for activities. Like,
yeah,
you can do so much.
So you
know,
put a mirror window here and stuff like that.
Well, no, you can't because mirror's going to be banned.
Yeah, probably.
But I feel like this Border rework escalates it to the level of like Cafe, Clubhouse, you know, where now it's going to be probably one of my top 3 favorite maps to play again. You know,
yeah.
I'm very excited to get into it and kind of see what the pros can do on it as well. I want to see the little strats and things that they do to kind of break the map and see what they can do. But we've got some changes coming in year 6 as well. The Gone 6, which I think is huge. A lot of people complain because they're like, "We got to give up a pistol for it." Well, yeah, because you're getting a direct line of sight boomstick, basically.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to arc it like a grenade. You don't have to worry about it. You just shoot it, and it goes past, and it blows it up. So, I think that's huge. I think it's really, really really, really cool. Hambo called it the Gadget Be Gone 6. Because that's what it does. It just deletes everything.
Yeah.
But I like the knock buff, right?
Oh yeah, that is pretty sweet.
I've been asking for this for months. Anybody who plays Siege with me knows that I love knock. When I play Villa, 2 things happen. I play knock, and I either get a 3K or I die immediately.
Yeah.
Right. That's what happens. So. That was a real life interpretation of how I die. I just fall over and die.
Just croak.
Yeah, just cough and die. So knock, and I've been saying like for a while now, like if Vigil can get away from Lion's Wub, why can't Knock do the same thing, but with Malusi Wubs, right? Because her gadget is a literal presence reduction, right?
Yeah.
And that now they've buffed her, and I'm like, I don't want to play her in the live build because I can't get around things. Like. I picked her the other night, and I was like, there's a Malusi Banshee. I'll just, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Like, I can't walk past it yet. But I think that's super cool. I think the idea that they have for the Malusi Banshee, where it's going to open up eventually, and you can be able to shoot it.
I remember, I forgot who said it. I think it was like either Foxe or Laxing or someone. I remember someone suggested that should be a change like months ago, back right when she first came out, like during Steel Wave even. And I remember some dev, I forgot who, but commented with the like the smiley face with the notepad like emoji. And I'm like, oh, and time passed. And I'm like, oh, they took that idea. So I do enjoy that change. I think it's going to be for the best. I know it's not this season, right? Like it's still being worked on.
It wasn't in the test server yet.
Okay.
Just like the Maestro change hasn't been made
yeah.
yet, which I think that's gonna. I think a lot of people think it's gonna kill Maestro off, but I disagree. I think it's gonna be much more like Ashe losing her ACOG. The ones who were good at Ashe will stay good at Ashe. The ones who are good Maestro players will stay good Maestro players. Right?
Yeah.
The ones who are bad Maestro players and use him for his Auto, and that's really about it, they're not even really going to see an effect because they're not using his gadget anyway, right?
When Ashe lost her ACOG, didn't her win delta go up? I forgot.
Her pick rate went down. Her win ratio went up.
Yeah. Okay. So I wonder if you're right about that with Maestro as well. I would assume yes, because like you said, the best players will stay with it,
because I'm curious to see if Echo has had the same effect since his nerf, right? Because a lot of Echo players are bad Echo players, right?
Yeah.
He's just annoying to play against. So when you have someone like me who's been playing Echo since the day he came out, from when he was terrible and he only had one yokai, and I see a bad Echo player, I'm just like, oh, it's toxic to team kill. But like, but I'm curious to see if Echo's actual win rate has gone up since his nerf, because nobody's playing him hardly ever anymore. I even don't really play him as much as I used to anymore. But I'm curious to see if his win rate has gone up, and I think that's what's going to happen with Maestro, because and I said the same thing about Flores. I think Flores is a lot like Maverick, where a bad Flores is going to be a bad Flores. It's just how it is. A bad Maverick, if you can't Maverick trick, why are you on Maverick? You know, like, but the good Mavericks who can get that wall open in like 4 seconds and have you struggling, I think that's how Flores is going to be. If he can figure out how to get those drones into places to take care of stuff from underneath, you know, or something like that, I think the good Flores players will be great. And I think Maestro is going to have the same effect. I don't really think Melusi is going to have much of an effect because she's fast, good gun. People will pick her for kind of like Jaeger. She has a set and forget gadget. You know, he's got a good gun. He's not as fast as he used to be, but I don't think she's going to get affected too much. But I really think Maestro, you're going to see his pick rate go down, but I think his win rate's going to steadily climb up.
I could agree with that. But on the Melusi thing, I see bad Melusis now.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people will place her gadget and not remember, like, oh, like it's a bubble. So let's put it like, so what you're supposed to do is like, it's a bubble radius. So you have to put it like in the middle in the open so that it has the maximum range. And people put it right next to the door frame so the guy could just come in and whack it. Like, like, why do people do that?
Same thing with the, we call them wee-woos, but the motion detectors, right? People will put them at the very top of the door frame, and it's like, by the time they're in, they're out of the radius. Like, what are you doing? You got to angle those things a little bit better, buddy. As someone who plays a lot of Castle with wee-woos or Oryx with wee-woos, it's like, man, you got to put those things in places that it's not going to hurt you. Like, because by the time you hear it, they're already on top of you. You need to put those. I put them far away from sight, right?
And that's what you got to do. Yeah.
If we're playing like Coastline, there's one in the middle hall there by VIP on the planter because they got to come up. If I put one down by Cool Vibe stairs because that's going off before they ever even touch the stairs, right? So you can be like, oh, someone's about to come up Cool Vibes, right?
Okay.
But I know people who like throw them on the side of the wall, and it's like they can see that from down the hall, man. What are you doing? Like. It's not that big, but yeah, no, it's. But again,
the little things.
Bad Siege players will be bad Siege players. It's just how it is. So, the last thing I want to talk to you about is if you could change or add one thing into Siege, what would it be and why?
I would probably add defenders being able to do classic T hunt. Now, what I mean by that for the people who don't T hunt is that when you do classic T hunt, it's all the attackers that and they kill the terrorists, and you just kill the terrorists and it's over. I want to see the defenders be able to be selected in that, because I want to test recoils. I want to practice recoils with defender weapons, but I do not want to protect the hostage. I absolutely hate defending the hostage, and sometimes I just want to practice like the what's it called, like the 416 from Jaeger, or if I want to practice the speed of Vigil running around with the SMG-12, but I don't really want to do it as Dokkaebi, you know, like this, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just want that so bad. I think that could help out a lot, and especially I just, you know, let their gadgets go on still. Like if you're practicing with Malusi and just see all these angles and stuff, does that make sense? Because like it bothers me so much.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think defending the hostage is a bad way to test defender weapons in T-Hunt, because it's a funnel system, right? They have to come into that room. Whereas when you're playing the classic terrorist hunt, you have to chase them down, right? You have to know if they're behind a shield, or if they're, you know, around a corner or putting up a wall or whatever. I agree with you. I think it's something that needs to happen already, or at least some type of firing range where you can use every single operator, you know?
Yeah.
We need something, because, you know, when you're playing defense, you're not static in a position, right? Especially with certain operators. If you're playing Vigil, you're not sitting there canted holding an angle. You're moving around the map. You're trying to learn spots where you can vault over and get sneaky positions and stuff like that. You're not an anchor as Vigil. So playing hold the hostage as Vigil doesn't really make a lot of sense, you know? Nope. And you're going to be swinging corners, you know? You're going to be aggressive as Vigil, because that's what he's built to do. He's a roamer. He's meant to waste time and get kills. So if you're just sitting in a room and you're like, oh, there's 3 coming through the door, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah,
okay,
you find the spot, and it's just like, this is good practice. Like,
yeah, it's so fun. I'm so happy I get to practice pre-firing corners and swinging doors and, you know, all this stuff. I think that needs to happen. I want to see a revamp of the map banning system. That's what I want, because I feel like
agree with that.
I feel like I get the same 3 maps every time. Like, and I play Oregon so much. Like, I feel like Oregon's rate at which it shows up is much. I make the joke that I played my 10 placements and 15 of the matches were on Oregon. like
I've actually played a lot of Oregon the last 3 days, so
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, and it's always paired up with maps that are not people's favorites. I'm not going to call them bad maps, but they always show up with maps that aren't people's favorites, you know? Like, if you get Oregon, Oregon Canal, and Bank, you're playing Oregon, right?
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to be. If you get, like, Oregon, border, coastline, you're probably playing Oregon. Unless your team votes out Oregon, you're playing that map. And I feel like I don't know what we can do. Like, if we just maybe make it 5 maps and the 4 maps with the most votes just goes. Like, I don't know how to change it, but something needs to change, because I'm tired of playing the same 2 maps. It's Oregon and Clubhouse over and over and over and over. And while I like Clubhouse, it's one of my top 3 favorite maps. I want to play Chalet. I want to play, you know, not Outback, but I want to play Sky.
I want to play
Skyscraper.
I love playing Sky in ranked.
I want to play maps that I don't get to play, but because of the way the banning system is currently, if you see Chalet show up, okay, well, that one's gone. Like, so now it's coming down between Coastline and Oregon. Which map do you guys want to play? You know? Or I think what we need to do, because there's a lot of ties as well, which I'm sure I don't know if these guys are going to ban Theme Park, and I don't want to play Theme Park, so we got to vote for it too. What I would like to see is you get to see everyone's vote. So if you see 6 votes stacked up on Theme Park, okay, well, they've got Theme Park, what do we want to ban?
Okay, right? I see.
So that way, and make it the different colors, make it orange and blue so you know which side is voting for which map. But I'm so tired of being like, man, I have to vote this map because I definitely don't want to vote this map. I don't want to play this map either, but I really don't want to play this map. So, and then you get a tie, right? And you can't even split your votes as a team, right? Like, if we go 2-2, it's still gonna tie for some reason. I don't know. That's the thing that I think needs the biggest change.
My friend goes into all chat sometimes and tells them we're banning a map of what we're really not, and then like they're like, okay, we'll ban the other one. We get the map that.
Oh, so you're those dickheads, yeah.
Well, I keep all chat off. I keep all chat off. They're my friends are the ones who are kind of doing that. So
yeah, we had that last night. Dude was like, we've got this map, and I was like, I bet you they don't. And sure enough, we ended up tying on a map. And I was like, and Hambo typed in chat, he's like, you got this map there, eh? Or it was Chalet. They were like, we got Chalet. Well, guess what map we ended up playing? Chalet. So, yeah, no. And I think that changes that, right? If you can see everybody's votes, right? Then you can see, oh, orange team is voting for bank, so we can vote for something else, right? And vice versa. Oh, blue team voted for coastline, so now we can vote whatever we want to vote. Like, you don't have to add their names or anything like that. Who voted for what map? Just the colors, orange and blue, and throw them up on the screen, and there you go. Yeah, you're still gonna have people that like wait to the last minute to vote for something else, but it won't matter because this map still has 4 out of the 5 votes. So
can you imagine like a 5 stack, like all like, okay, does everyone vote for that, and then like calling up, oh, and then all the votes just change.
Yeah,
you're gonna see that. Honestly,
I don't think you'd see it as much as
no, you wouldn't
very often, but you would absolutely. There's some trolls.
I had an idea actually in my head for a bit that I feel like it might take like a few extra seconds, but I wonder what would happen if the matchmaking system saw like all the players in the match, the 10 players. And they're like, okay, the majority of people in this lobby played so-and-so map as their last match played. Let's not put this as a one in the ones to vote. I would like, let's say like they choose like 5. Like they just say, okay, we'll go right down the middle, like 5 players. I'm like, okay, everyone, the majority of these 5 players just played Oregon, so we're not putting Oregon on this list. That could help. That's the way I thought of it. I mean, of course, like a computer could probably read that out really quick and won't add much time, but that's what I thought a while ago. I actually thought of this like, to be honest, a few months ago. That was my only idea.
Well, and especially because we have the one-step matchmaking now, where it loads everyone into the lobby first. The programming could see, okay, the first 5 people in this lobby just played Clubhouse, right?
Yeah.
So let's remove Clubhouse from this pool, right? And it wouldn't keep it as random as everybody thinks. But honestly, I don't really think it's random. I think it's just like because again, I played 4 matches in a row of unranked. All 4 of those matches had the same 3 maps. Like, do you know the odds of that? Like, if it's truly a random system,
that's rare.
Yeah, like if it's truly a random system, do you know at which the odds it would have to be for 4 straight games to have the same 3 maps show up? That's pretty. That's rare. That's a unicorn right there. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I would like to see. Just some kind of change. It's good, and it was good when it was first introduced, but I feel like because the same 3 maps just keep showing up all the time, that there needs to be a little bit of an overhaul there. So, but with that all being said, that kind of wraps it up here for the day. Thank you so much again, Killy, for coming and hanging out. Anything you'd like to plug or shout out or anything like that before we go?
Honestly, just be a good person to other people right now. Everything's going down, and you know what? Like, all we can do is be nice to each other in games, in real life, and of course, wash your hands, wear a mask, and social distance if you are able. Stuff like that. I'm just so like ready for like events to come back. Like, just please, everyone, please wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
so we can have normal life back, please. Other than that,
if you go to an event, wear deodorant and take a shower.
Oh yeah, please. I wear 2 masks when I'm at an event. But by the way, I have my Jaeger balaclava on, but underneath it there's a mask to not show my lip and my beard. So I've always double masked at events. Funny enough, I've never been sick. I've never gotten the land flu.
Never got the land flu.
Other than that, just be nice to each other in game and be nice to your random teammates. I gotta say.
Yeah, that's like the tweet I sent out the other day. I was like, I'm very excited for Siege, but as a community, we have to get better. Be kind to those in game and report those who aren't.
Yes.
Take screenshots, guys. The devs care, man. The devs care whether you think they do or not. They 100% do. As someone who talks to a dev pretty much every single day, they care about their game. If they didn't care, they wouldn't keep working on it. They wouldn't keep putting out content for you guys. So don't think that the devs don't care, because they do. They don't want these people in their game as much as you don't. So yeah, just be nice to people. It's a hard time for a lot of people out there, man. Mental health is at an all-time low, like we talked about on the podcast a few weeks ago with Don and Andrew. It's tough time. We're coming around. We're definitely, hopefully, on the back end of it. Vaccines are starting to roll out and stuff, so it's rough. Be kind, love each other, love yourself, and yeah, I think it's gonna wrap it up, man. Alrighty, right. So everyone, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I appreciate you. We'll be live again Monday night as usual. Make sure you go check out Killimaze, twitch.tv/Killimaze. There'll be a link in the description on YouTube. You guys can go check him out as well. He's an okay guy, he's
I like drinking and playing Siege.
I like drinking and video games.
I'm not an alcoholic though.
All right, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Good luck. Have fun. I'm Krysis, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.